Hawk is one of the most beloved characters in the show. From a shy kid known as Eli Moskowitz to a karate All-Valley champion, as well as scoring points in a world tournament. There is one thing we can't deny though. After Hawk's big win in Season 4 over the big bad Robbie, Hawk was done so dirty. It got to the point where in Season 5, Mitch and Kyler were more plot relevant and relevant to other characters' development than Hawk. Losing to Kenny and showing to be a fodder was probably the worst choice the writers have made in the show. Like, the character assassination was crazy. But that leaves us with one question. With Cobra Kai being over, the writers have had an extra 15 episodes to try and redeem Hawk from the absolute shithole they put him in. So, was he redeemed? Well, in part 1, it arguably got even worse. It was good at first with him low-key cooking in the frat fight more than Miguel and Kyler, but then when he was trying to make the Sekai Taikai team, he was done so dirty, bro. One, he lost to Devin in the flag fight exchange, which low-key makes you forget that he literally just won the All-Valley, like, not that long ago. The best he got was that Dimitri saying Hawk was a no-brainer.
You're a no-brainer.
But we didn't even get to see that part. Hawk was barely competitive in the flag fight and all, and I'm pretty sure had as many flags as like Anthony at this point, bro. And ended up having to be part of a tiebreaker. Like, are we going to forget that Hawk was one of the 2 All-Valley winners in that group, and yet for some reason he's not given higher consideration by Daniel or Johnny when they first make their lists, or even when Mike Barnes is choosing? There is no way bro really thought that there was a tie between 3 randoms and an All-Valley champion. Like, it is just so blatantly bad that Miguel is always reminded that he was an All-Valley champ, but the reigning All-Valley champ does not get any credit during the selections, other than like one sentence from Daniel. And speaking of the Forest, having him lose to Dimitri, I don't even know, bro. I don't care how you take it for this stupid MIT arc. Having him lose to Dimitri was such a bad character choice made for this man. He could have easily won, obviously, but he held back. But this doesn't even prove anything. Like, yeah, sure, he's not a bully anymore, but that arc ended all the way back in Season 3. Hawk later on gets into the Sekai Taikai team, but the fact that he had to get on because someone left is insane. Like, you wouldn't think, may I reiterate, he is the reigning All-Valley champion. And you know what, I'm just going to get this off my chest right now while it's still there, completely unscripted. Hawk should have not grown back this mohawk. Like, first of all, I thought after Season 4 that he was going to stay as buzzcut Eli because the entire arc was him learning that his freaking confidence does not come from a stupid persona with dumb hair. Well, like, yeah, the hair is cool, but, like, it just on his entire character arc in Season 4, which is one of the best in the show. And then in Season 6, he proceeded to grow a freaking American flag out of that shit. Like, what happened, bro? He should not have grown out this stupid American flag. It doesn't, like, make any sense anymore, dude. He can still be Hawk without the mohawk. Like, him growing out a short mohawk was bad, but then he got an entire American flag on that thing, which is just looks so stupid. It's so extra. It completely deletes the arc of him being confident without the mohawk, and now the mohawk is so extra. But anyways, that's a rant for another video. In part 2, it wasn't as bad. I mean, Hawk gets negged by Yoon at first, but it is his first fight of the tournament, and he is seen cooking up in the background roughly though. Hawk does also get beat up at the Sekai Taikai a lot, but this time we could cut him some slack because it's a world level tournament, not just a bunch of random locals. His next big fight was on the platform where he was putting in work, only to get sold by this absolute bum Dimitri, bro. Seriously, dude, Season 6 made me hate Dimitri. But more importantly, why? Hawk got less wins on this platform than freaking Devin, bro. The guy he was cooking technically wasn't even his elim because Dimitri kicked them both off. You're telling me Devin had more relevance in this fight than Hawk. Anyways, he doesn't show anything that crazy other than making a terrible choice against Furia de Pantera. I do like the tag team fight against Yoon and how ultimately he was the one to score the point. But this fight low-key does show that Yoon is still way above him, let alone Quan, Miguel, and Robbie. From being the All-Valley champion, beating Robbie and, you know, potentially being able to beat Miguel, to probably getting no diffed by the guy that you beat, aka Robbie, even though you trained together after the event of the All-Valley, which is honestly crazy work. But I will give him credit to be the one to land a hit on Yoon is pretty good, as the big three boys were the one to score the points. But I do think that Hawk should have had like a bit more of a part in this fight, because yeah, he does ultimately score the point, but it makes it pretty obvious that without, you know, the whole tag team thing, Hawk would have not stood a very good chance. Like, maybe he was at best like gonna get mid-diffed. Anyways, after this, the only thing he actually does is at the end of the part 2 with the brawl, which I guess is cool. Like, they beat the hell out of the Udyr and Tiger, whatever the freaking dojo is called. But I have no comments on this because at the end of the day, it's a brawl. So it doesn't really speak anything to Hawk's power level, since everyone in that fight was getting jumped. In part 3, short and sweet. He doesn't really do anything other than help Robbie train. At least at this point, the stupid MIT arc is 100% concluded, with them determining what their next steps will be. Dimitri ultimately went to Caltech with Hawk, and Hawk does return to Cobra Kai to support Johnny. And it is pretty interesting that he's putting on a Cobra Kai gi again, even though he doesn't want any part of Cobra Kai anymore, to the point where he even removed the tattoo. But I guess it does kind of symbolize that Johnny's Cobra Kai is not like Kreese or Silver's, so I think that's pretty good. A lot of people were saying that it's pretty bad that Hawk had no fight scenes other than like a brief scrap with Robbie and a brief scrap with Miguel, but I think people forgot that at this point in the show, it is the captain's like game after all. It's like they were never supposed to fight anymore, and bro, who the hell was Hawk gonna fight? They can't do another brawl because that would be so stupid. And fighting on the street would not really do any service at all. Like, what is he gonna do? Like, scrap with Axel on the streets? I don't really know how they would do that. So I think Hawk not fighting and making way for, you know, the actual captains to get their spotlight, since this is kind of their tournament now that all the mini games are over, is fine. Like, yeah, you know what? This part was not bad for Hawk. I mean, he didn't get done dirty. He was one of the primary factors to Robbie being able to match up against Axel. So it's not terrible. It's not terrible. So in conclusion, did season 6 redeem Hawk's terrible assassination in season 5? Well, kind of. Part 1 was just straight up terrible with no redeemable qualities for this man. Part 2 did do quite a lot better with him having a lot more significance and arguably the Miyagi-Do team's biggest fight against Cobra Kai, but he does get sold for most of the tournament until then. I do just hate the fact that while yes, Hawk was never on the level of importance as a character to Miguel, nobody ever remembers the fact that Hawk was an All-Valley champion. Like, I don't think it gets mentioned once in this season, correct me if I'm wrong, but Miguel gets called El Serpiente everywhere. But are we going to forget who was the reigning champ? Like, Miguel was a champ 1 or 2 years ago now. I think Hawk was done a lot better in season 6 overall than he was in season 5. But one thing that season 5 had over 6 for Hawk was people actually remembered and acknowledged the fact that he was a champion. But season 6 did not acknowledge it in any way, basically. Especially during the freaking like team selections. That was so dumb. Absolutely horrible that his impressive resume as an All-Valley winner is literally never brought up. But you know what? Anyways, let me know in the comments if you thought season 6 as a whole saved Hawk. You know, I think it did a decent job at trying to redeem him. I mean, at this point, it's kind of hard to get him on the level of relevance as like Miguel and Robbie, because he's not. But they didn't have to do him so dirty in season 5 and season 6 part 1. But anyways, guys, eat your green, stay healthy. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.